This is the CitizenLink Report.
If you find our insights helpful, would you support our video efforts? Your gift of $25 or more goes a long ways. Covers the crew, lights, cameras, all that. Just click on Donate. Thanks from all of us. President Obama had a lot to say to Planned Parenthood, and he talked about you, too. This is the CitizenLink Report. Hi, I'm Stuart Shepard, along with Carrie Gordon Earll, who tracks the life issue for us. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Stuart.
The president now holds the dubious distinction of being the first sitting president to speak in person to a Planned Parenthood national conference. What does that tell us about him?
Well, Stuart, if you think about the history of President Obama and Planned Parenthood, it's not really a surprise. You may remember in the presidential election last year, Planned Parenthood's president, Cecile Richards, actually took a leave of absence from Planned Parenthood to work full-time on his campaign. She recorded an endorsement video that was on the Obama webpage. President Obama's speech was very similar to a 2-minute video he recorded last March praising Planned Parenthood that was on their website. He also defended Planned Parenthood during the presidential debate, the second debate, with Mitt Romney. So when you look at all that, he won re-election. He really doesn't have anything to lose but to show up and rally the troops in person.
Now, there was something interesting. His speech was about 12 minutes long, and I listened through the whole thing, and I realized about halfway through that most of the speech was about a certain procedure, yet in the entire 12 minutes, he never said exactly, in so many words, what he was talking about. We're going to show you some of those clips. See if you can guess what he really meant.
Providing quality health care, important services, that women should be allowed to make their own decisions about their own health. More health care options for women, making certain forms of contraception a crime. Your right to choose.
Carrie, why doesn't he just come out and say it?
Well, it's kind of like listening to code. I mean, you're waiting to try to figure out what he's talking about. Abortion is the controversy here. It's Planned Parenthood's involvement in the abortion industry that is the problem. And you know, 40 years after legalization, Americans still don't like abortion. They want less of it. Unfortunately, a lot of Americans don't realize that Planned Parenthood is is part of the abortion industry. 1/3 of the abortions committed each year in this nation are by Planned Parenthood, using, in some way, taking in $500 million or more of your tax dollars. So the connection between President Obama, abortion, and Planned Parenthood is very clear here. And the president's lack of forthrightness in saying the word abortion just hides who Planned Parenthood is all the more.
Now, as well as pledging his support for the procedure that dare not be named, he also had a lot to say about pro-lifers like you. Listen to this.
So the fact is, after decades of progress, there's still those who want to turn back the clock to policies more suited to the 1950s than the 21st century. And they've been involved in an orchestrated and historic effort to roll back basic rights when it comes to women's health. 42 states have introduced laws that would ban or severely limit access to a woman's right to choose.
Stuart, the fact that a majority of states have tried to limit or ban abortion speaks to the strong pro-life commitment in this nation. The fact that 10 states have defunded Planned Parenthood already to the tune of more than, or almost $62 million, that really speaks to where the nation is at the state level. And the state level is often a better barometer of these policies. Now, the throwaway line in there about going back to the 1950s, this is not an original text. These are old recycled talking points. We've heard Cecile Richards, president of Planned Parenthood, use those as well. And you know, the 1950s were not a good time for civil rights for African Americans or for workplace opportunities for women. But it was a better time for survival if you were a preborn baby. It was a time when we didn't abort 1 million of our preborn children a year. It was a time when women were not widely exploited by pornography, sex trafficking was barely heard of, and divorce was rare. So when you look at that, it wasn't a great time for everything, but there were some really good policies to protect the weak, and that's what we are lacking here.
Now, he also, as he tends to do in most speeches now, connected this to Obamacare. You're going to have to listen very carefully because we talked about the euphemisms a minute ago. You'll have to read through the euphemisms to understand the point he's making, but listen carefully to how the president connects these two topics.
40 years after the Supreme Court affirmed a woman's constitutional right to privacy, including the right to choose, we shouldn't have to remind people that when it comes to a woman's health, no politician should get to decide what's best for you. No insurer should get to decide what kind of care that you get. The only person who should get to make decisions about your health is you. That's why we fought so hard to make health care reform a reality.
Now, once you translate all the euphemisms, essentially he's saying that the reason he fought so hard to pass Obamacare, it was not to protect those who have no health care. It was not to lower the cost of health care. He says the reason he fought so hard was abortion.
Abortion, and to create more of it. Abortion is not health care. Pregnancy is not a disease, yet Obamacare is intertwined with abortion. Just think about that for a minute. Obamacare includes federally subsidized funding of abortion through the individual mandate requirement that you have a policy, and you may not know that abortion is even in that policy until you have it and you read the fine print. What this is going to do is really create, Stuart, the equivalent of a federally funded slush fund for abortion that is going to have the potential to raise enough money to pay for double the number of abortions that we have right now. Planned Parenthood accepts medical insurance. So you start connecting the dots here and you see it's not going to be a big surprise to find Planned Parenthood on that Obamacare abortion gravy train.
Now, the president spends a lot of time trying to make it sound like he's on, at least sensitive to folks on the other side of the issue. But once you listen to how he wrapped up his speech, there is no question where he stands on abortion.
As long as we've got to fight to make sure women have access to quality, affordable health care, and as long as we've got to fight to protect a woman's right to make her own choices about her own health, I want you to know that you've also got a president who's going to be right there with you, fighting every step of the way. Thank you, Planned Parenthood. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you.
Carrie, the president is promising to fight every pro-life man, woman, and child in the country personally, along with Planned Parenthood, and he's asking God to bless the nation's largest abortion seller.
Stuart, I hope people will play back that little clip and listen to it a second time, because here we have the president really throwing down the gauntlet and saying, without question, this is who I am. I am unabashedly, unashamedly an advocate for the killing of preborn children in America. And really the audacity to ask God, who created these little ones in his image, to bless the practice in the hands that shed their innocent blood. To ask God to bless the deception that is spoken to women at Planned Parenthood clinics by their own testimony and other abortion centers when they ask, is this a baby? And they are told no. To ask God to bless that is totally disregarding the God of the Bible, who hates the shedding of innocent blood, and abortion is among that list.
So we need to be praying and we need to be active.
Well, we do, and we need to be aware that this is a battle. It is a spiritual battle, it's an earthly battle, but you know, when it's darkest, your light shines the brightest, and there's wonderful opportunities at the state and the local level. Find good pro-life people to run for office. Support the pregnancy center in your neighborhood. Support those pro-life elected officials that are taking a stand for life. There is still tremendous opportunity, and I'm convinced momentum continues to be on our side. The younger generation is pro-life. People get this. They get this in a way sometimes they don't get some of the other social issues that we talk about on this program. So it is an opportunity, but we need to be wise that our president is actively acting against us on this issue.
Carrie, thank you for tracking this issue for us and helping unpack his speech a bit. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Stuart.
And thank you for watching. We always appreciate hearing from you. You may write to us at mail@citizenlink.com. You can send in your questions, your comments, your criticisms. We're open to all of that. We do read every message that comes in. We don't always get to respond to each one, but we do appreciate hearing from you. We encourage you to pray for the state-level legislators this week. That's where most pro-life action is happening right now. The president even mentioned that more than 40 states have passed pro-life laws. We need to pray that that keeps happening. Pray for their wisdom, their clarity, to write proper bills that place proper limits on abortion in this country. And remember, stand tall and be heard.